Hi guys, welcome back again. This is Genovis doing another one of the Pokegirl series. See here, this is Warti 008 based off the War Turtle model. Played around with some of the airbrushing effects for backgrounds on this one, so you'll see those when we get there. And as always, here comes a time-lapse video of how I was kind of laying down some of the lines for it. Basic structure work, I kind of had in my head how I wanted the design to be and how I wanted the pose to be. I was thinking hands on hips, slight tilt. Almost had the legs tilted in. Did a little more than what they would naturally sit, just to give kind of a cute effect to it, I guess. At this point, I really had zero plans to do a background or anything. I had no idea what I was going to do with it. But once I got the sketch laying down, I was like, wow, that doesn't take up very much of the paper at all. So I think I actually blow it up here in a minute and then start just kind of throwing the generic background into it. The background really come to full effect when I actually, did the colors for it. There's some basic line shapes, and I started doing the actual background. I probably could have went a little bigger on the shell there. Looking back now, probably should have. Probably should have come down to the butt area. It looks almost more like a backpack, but I mean, live and learn. I'll know next time if I ever want to draw it again, just to bring it down, increase the size just a little bit. Like I said, I had no plans on the background. I just kind of drew it in and was gonna see what happened. Changed the hair a little bit around. Wanted it to sit more of a just straight down anime style, and then I had to work the ears in, because that's kind of a defining aspect of War Turtle is the ears. Trying to figure out how I wanted the face. I think I went in more of a mischievous look, almost an arched eyebrow looking at you like, yeah. I'm not sure what was going on there. A little bit of pause of just tiny little lines or something. And then I started laying back in the hairline and where I wanted the hair to be. On this one, I believe I was using the technical pencil again. Then when I get to the colors, I was just using the hard airbrush, and then finish it up with a soft airbrush for some of the actual shading and colors parts of it. You'll kind of see that coming whenever it gets there. There I went in for some reason, lowered the opacity a little more, and now I'm just going in and trying to touch up some of the sketches, get on top of my other lines, make sure they halfway make sense. I was pretty confident with the pose, even though it's a tiny bit off, I guess, weight wise and where weight's sitting, but it's about how I wanted it. There I actually just took the hard airbrush and made 2 circles. I was like, oh, she's gonna have circular boobs, so we'll do it that way. So I did both breasts just as circles and just kind of the shell just to fold around it. Similar to how I did the squirmy last video, there's no real way to make a shell look flattering, I guess. I mean, I guess I could try on one of the other videos, but I kind of had the look I wanted to go for here. The only thing I see that I really would do differently next time so far is the size of the shell on the back. Not even like bigger as far as, depth, but probably bigger as in length and down a little bit further down. Finishing off some of the shell work. It's not a good thing I love about the Procreate, because when you go through, you can jump all over the page if you want. You don't have to worry about smudging. You don't have to worry about, erasures here, erasures there. You can do stuff on different layers, change the layers, delete layers, lower the opacity on layers, duplicate layers, completely modify the size of different layers, modify the color of layers. Just love working digitally so far. Really trying to get it, you know, as my main way of doing any of my illustrations, pretty much from start to finish. Used to, I'd do something digital, print it out, do the pencils over it, bring it back, ink it in, and people still do that, and they do it as a profession. It works great. It's just not something that I want to do because I love the mobility. And here, just like I did my last video, I went in and changed the color of the lines, and I just went straight blue with it to start with. And I was thinking, well, I'll go the blue and then make that kind of a multiply layer, and then I'll just go over with the other colors and bring those in, because I wanted the lines to stay more of a, I wanted the blue to kind of remain a little bit. I think I do keep the black lines for it. And this is one of the videos, like one of the first couple ones I had, that kind of messes up, and it's coming up where my background really gets jacked up, and tried to expand it out a little bit so I can talk about it for a second. With the background, I just went in and selected different pieces of it, put it on its own layer, and then I used the soft brush tool to do the blue background there, and then I went through each line there as I had selected the kind of an aqua color, and did a blue kind of outline for it so it showed like it was a rounded depth, because that's the way I was going with it. And then I went in with another layer, a lighten layer, a screen lighten layer, and just kind of lighten the edge a little bit again to give it that round effect. Same thing there, just playing around with the different depth pieces. Then I started doing the shading on her. I made her own shading layer per color, and I think I combined them at the end just to have it all as one layer so I could play around with the opacity on it. But here I'm just getting, you saw how dark it was, and now lightened it up, and you'll see that happen again. Here I do with the blue on the hair. There I lighten it again. Getting the shell in. Trying to get all the color and depth I wanted in the shell, give it a little bit of texture. You can see I tried a couple times. It's another great thing. You know, traditionally if I was painting away, that would be kind of hectic if I had just did the wrong paints and had to redo it. See, adding the depth color to the tail and ears, and it's on layer again. That way I can just go in and lower the opacity like it just happened. Now notice the lines are a little blurred. What I did is I actually copied those blue lines I had earlier and actually went in and blurred those lines just a hair, so it kind of gives that slight, I don't want to call it more realistic look, because you know when you look at somebody you don't see straight lines all the way around them, but it gives it more of just a good look on the iPad. And visually I believe that just a little bit of blur on the separate lines just kind of makes it, I don't know, it just pops out a little bit more. I went in and did kind of a cast light on her a little bit on the left side, trying to show where those lights are hidden. Again, that background was completely just unplanned. I just slapped stuff on paper, and it actually, I like the way it ended up looking. And there I just, same thing, I went in with one color, did the blue background, and then just erased around it. And I think I actually dropped a watercolor paper behind it, lowered the opacity on it, so it kind of gives a watercolor paper feel. And here's the top to bottom is after I added the black layer back in. Yes, I left the blacks off the background, just brought them back into her, trying to give that effect so she pops out of it. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you as always. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.